Hello, welcome to CleantechTV. My name is Giles Parkinson. Today we're joined by Mike Zimmerman, the CEO of BuildingIQ. Mike, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Giles. Nice to be here.
Well, look, I guess the first thing is BuildingIQ. What is it and what does it do?
Building IQ is a relatively young company, only started about a year and a bit ago. We're actually set up as a spin out of CSRO, the national labs here in Australia, and we are basically a software company that has technology to optimize energy use in commercial buildings. So at the end of the day, what we're all about is trying to reduce energy consumption and cost for building owners and building managers.
You talked about the demand that's out there. I mean, what's changed? What's creating this demand? I presume it's just a mixture of regulatory concerns. I guess it's a mixture of just sort of people wanting to be more sustainable, but there's also a cost question.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you've hit the three key things. So you've got pressure on, actually, in terms of the pressures for being greener, you do have tenants, so especially the large tenants, Google, PwC, Coca-Cola, BHP, big companies that have a commitment to sustainability in terms of their corporate brand, and they want to be in green buildings and have green leases. And so you've got that pressure. You've then got the government coming in and saying, hey, we need to be more green. So they're setting some regulations about buildings having to be more green and the transparency of green building ratings. And then the last thing is you've actually got up the chain, investors in property are now demanding that the people who manage their money and invest into property have also got to be focused on greening those properties. So that's all on the kind of push to green side. Then the other big thing that we're seeing is, although Australia's fared pretty well, for certainly around the globe, there's been a real downturn in the financial state of, number one, the economy, but then specifically in the real estate sector. And as a result, there's a real pressure to cut costs in those same buildings. So on one hand, you got pressure to improve energy performance. On the other hand, you got less money and resources to do it. And that's where our solution comes in to try and solve those problems.
Now, you mentioned then global markets. Now, you were recently part, I understand, of a mission with Austrade to the US. Can you just sort of say what the dynamics are? Are the dynamics any different overseas? Is the US a big market for you, or are you seeing across the globe, or is it domestic? Where are you on all those things?
Australia is actually a relatively sophisticated market globally in terms of building energy management. They've actually had rating systems for many years now, whereas some countries are just adopting them. They've been proactively managing energy in their buildings and thinking about green buildings for quite a long time. So it's a great test market and first place to deploy our product. And as a result, we actually went to market and worked with Investa and Lendlease and now Stockland and some other people, actually get our products into their buildings and start helping them save energy and manage their portfolios more efficiently. We can then take the results from that and our experiences there and then go off to the U.S., which is really our core other focus. U.S. market, many times the size of Australia in terms of the number of buildings, 5 million buildings across the U.S., probably $100 billion in energy spend in buildings, massive market, and even more acute focus on costs. And so we can talk a little bit more later, perhaps, about our business model, but there's just a huge opportunity if you're looking at that energy performance pressure and particularly the cost side in the U.S.
So you mentioned the business model then. So what is unique about your business model?
So we're taking really a software and software as a service business model and bring it to the property industry. For the most part, in order to improve energy performance, I guess to date, you really had to outlay a bunch of capital to do a major retrofit or upgrade of your building. With our solution, you can come in and actually improve your building energy performance by 10 to 20%, and we don't charge any capital up front. This is not a CapEx model. We actually charge a subscription, and we install our system and then run our service, and you save money every month, and you pay a subscription fee every month, and the savings outweigh the subscription, so you're better off and you start saving immediately. So that's pretty revolutionary business model, not so much for the software industry, which has been doing this for a while, but for the property industry.
Well, I'm not a property owner, but or a major property owner like that, but I guess I have to find that sort of proposition quite irresistible, really.
If you don't have capital and you don't have the resources on hand to help proactively manage energy and get the performance down, it's absolutely ideal. And I think we've had a great response, really both in Australia, but particularly in the U.S., where they're much more cost sensitive as a result of that.
Well, Mike, good luck with the business, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks very much.